Welcome back. We've got Mr. Joe Odumake, who is the spokesperson of Afenifere, joining us. I beg your pardon, Yinka Odumake, spokesperson of Afenifere. Pardon me there. Good morning, and good to see you again after a while.
Nice to see you guys.
But you know, that particular meeting,
yes,
you know, yes, there were so many people who thought, wait a minute, should this have said, why did they take this perspective? But there are those who actually left out the part where they said, look, they set up 2 committees to actually liaise with the youths, engage with them, and see where perhaps they've got to iron things out. So was that part lost in some of the things they said, or is it that the first point they made was so strong that made the other ones almost seem irrelevant?
Even the other one is not only irrelevant, but it's also provoking.
Oh.
How can you go and sit down as a sectional group and say you are setting up committees and you are saying that nomination from Federal Executive Council? Are we running a government of the North or government of Nigeria? And the rest of us, are we serfs in this country? If you have respect for us, if you are treating us as fellow Nigerians, you know it's very easy to take out all the undue advantages, sit on the necks of others, and now begin to say Nigeria is indivisible, indissoluble, in the rest. But the moment things are not going your way, you say, oh, Araba, let's divide it. Make your kind of provocative statement. We are not born yesterday night. And I think also is for the president particularly. How you say you are president of the United Nigeria? You allow your chief of staff, IG, all the top northerners in your government to go and sit on the morning in a sectional meeting. Let me tell you this. I remember this thing happened in 1999. We invited former President Obasanjo to a meeting at Afenifere in Surulere, in the house of late Obasanjo. Obasanjo came to that meeting. But when they arrived, the first 3 people that entered were Fulani. And they said, what is this man trying to do? But in a way, perhaps we'll start to show his come with me. The people I'm talking to are my own people. They are not going to say, it's not that I'm coming here to plot against Nigeria. That's why I came that way. But for a president to sit in Abuja there, and you allow all your top officials to go and see in a sectional meeting on the Monday morning, and you come on television and be telling us that the unity of Nigeria was won at great cost. It's conquest we are talking about. You are behaving as if you have conquered the rest of us, and you are now celebrating that conquest as unity that's indivisible, indissoluble, and the rest of them.
Are you suggesting, pardon me, that they should have turned down that invite for the meeting?
No, they don't see the rest of us. It's only when they need people around for the rest of the country to carry brooms with them. That's when they think they need others. But once they think get power, it is our power they are dealing with. You can see that all that happened in NSAS, all they are concerned about is regime change. What does that mean? They want to take our power. And that's the fundamental issue in this country. Why we have insisted.
Right. Pardon me, I need to get something clear, because you seem to disagree with the mode that meeting was conducted, maybe the participation and even the resolutions from that meeting. So looking back now, let's start from the beginning again. How do you, advise that meeting should have been conducted? Are you saying that it shouldn't have been called by leaders from the North? Are you saying that those invited should not have been invited? Are you saying the resolutions, which, by the way, involved setting up committees for the youths and traditional rulers to have representatives from geopolitical zones across the country, are you saying that all that should have never happened in the first place?
Clearly, if you have leadership that understand what this demands, what you need most at this time is a national consultation that involves all segments of the country. What will not happen now? If those of us in the South and Middle Belt, you also decide to call our own meeting, call our governors, invite our representatives who are in federal government to our own meeting, what are you having? Then it means that we are returning to the protectorate. And is for those who are shouting unity most. We have said it for five years. that this government is behaving as if they are now a conquest agenda.
Okay, but if we're going to have a national meeting,
yes.
as you suggested,
yes.
But I thought that would there be anything wrong in different regions and zones aggregating the opinion of their people, going to the meeting with them? For instance, is there anything wrong in saying, okay, well, if they've had meeting, southern leaders have a meeting as well, so you can aggregate points as well, then you can come to a national meeting? If that happened, would there have been anything wrong with it?
No, in fact, if we are even going to go through such a thing, where we are now, it should be a consultation among the leaders. Okay, we are in blocks. Let us hold our different meetings. Then we agree to come together and rub minds on national issues. Look, there are fundamental issues in this thing that they are not even looking at, that we have to look at together nationally. What the old NSAS things, like we said, is a reflection of so many things. But you cannot be celebrating, oh, that the youth are not participating, so let's keep the country divided as it is. If northern youth are not participating in NSAS protests, they are not mostly the victims of SARS. What SARS does is mostly profiling. Oh, you are wearing earring. Oh, this is how you are cutting your hair. You are a Yahoo boy. That's it. All those profiles are for youth from a particular section of the country. And so, in that context, is a lack of federalism. If you have federalism, we will not be running a single police where there will not be cultural imperatives to understand the nuances of young people. Or to see any young person riding a good car is assumed to be a fraudster. Whereas our young people these days, I interact with them, they are so enterprising. They are doing all kind of things. They are making money. There may be those who are some people are going to a crime with that, but a lot of them are so enterprising. Where the things their parents could not do years back, they are doing it. They are making money, but to provide them as criminals, and because you don't see them in how you want to profile your own young people, it's wrong. Now to have gone to what happened, to kill them like fowls. We saw the footages of some of you television stations that had the audacity to use the footages. They are put off under fines, but nobody has declared that they kill people. Well, and we know when Erufai came to as governor in Kaduna in 2015, he said we went to look for Fulanis who lost their cows in Kaduna in 2011 and are coming back to kill people. So if you care so much about your cows that way, you want to kill our human beings, children we have trained, and we should just forget about them. You know that there's not a word about all those who are killed or who died at that meeting. Not even a word of condolence. What kind of country are we?
Well, Mr. Odumake, perhaps the issue that you have raised or that you're raising about the leadership, of the various regions would begin with, consensus among the various regions. Yes. There are 3 regions in the north, and there are 3 regions in the south: north central, northeast, and northwest. All agreed and came under an umbrella, Northern Governors Forum. And then there is southwest, say south-south, and there is southeast.
And middle belt from north. From north.
Even the middle belt, most of them always say that they are the north central and all of that. But the question here is, perhaps there is a need for that united voice in the south as well. Maybe if there is such a voice, if there is such a coming together of all governors in the south of Nigeria or southern Nigeria, and they also can agree, the way the northern governors agreed, maybe we can have a going forward on that. A good number of governors, irrespective of region, have said that to a large extent their voices in the Nigerian Governors Forum is not one. But in the northern region, they speak as one. And among the Northern Governors Forum, they speak as one. The southern governors, I'm not sure what you would make of that. So what do you think about that unity, that coming together first of all the governors in the south of Nigeria to have the same common voice the way the northern governors have?
I don't know. It's a suggestions they are made to us. We have always believed that we should not take the year back to the 1953 era, even when the motion came from the South, and let's have independence in 1957, the North walked out. There were riots in Kano and the rest of them. That this 60 years after, we should be able to behave in a way that's suggestive of all the propaganda for our colleagues. They preach unity of Nigeria, indissoluble, indivisible, only when they are at an advantage. It should not be only when we are advantageous, or we think that we are having it over the rest.
Who is at advantage here?
Oh, of course.
Over who?
It's so clear that today, the government that we have does not pretend that it's a northern government. Huh? Look at the security sector. We have been talking about all these things all these years. We have a situation where the chief of staff, IG, NATE, only the number man. It's not for the corner. Look at everything today. Finance sectors, critical sectors. You position your own people. And at the gates of where we say we have a federal character, is that federal character that we have been running?
It goes back to the question
yes.
of that coming together, that unity, that numbers, because I mean it's always about the numbers here. So if that suggestion has been made to you about all governors in the South coming together, what could be wrong with it if it's going to, as you said, give an advantage to everyone?
No, we do not seek any advantage over anybody. All we are saying is that let's run a country for all, in which are all equal before the law. That's what we're asking for. We're not asking for special advantages. We're not saying that we want some special things. We want advantage. Slow others down until we are able to move. We want equal competition. Let us move together as a people, understanding our differences, but having common goals about development, about developing our youth.
So how, in your opinion, will we be able to achieve that if we do not have the numbers to vote for that kind of thing that you're talking about?
You just reminded me of the late Patrick Nahuru, who always made this argument to us that it is preposterous to say that in a country like Nigeria, we want to have one man, one vote. It's not going to work. Now what we need is consensus. This is a multi-ethnic society. Building an inclusive society is not about whether they have more number. They go and print, and there are more number here than here. No, it's not about number. It's about building understanding, building consensus, and in nation building. Look, a senior retired military officer from the North, my very good friend, one of the people I respect more in the North, when this thing started, called me and said, look, Chief, it's very difficult. It will be very difficult for us to make a nation out of this country.
Mr. Domaki, you know what? We'll come to break. We'll come back to that particular train of thoughts when we return in a moment. Please stay with us. All right, could you please go ahead and continue your train of thought?
Yeah. So our position is very, very, very clear. That at this point, we must understand that to make a success, to keep Nigeria, we must restructure and do federalism. This whole idea of running Nigeria from Abuja, it's not going to work.
It's difficult for us to make anything out of the protest.
Which protest?
I mean, you were making a point as to why they were thinking it was going to be challenging for us to perhaps move forward, having raised those key issues the protesters did.
Well, you see, it's because of the... the prophet said that can two work together except they agree. It's because there's no agreement. We are looking for different things. We are saying that, okay, let's build in a country where that can serve all our citizens, where we can work together, where we can hold hands. There are people who are just looking for a country where they can take advantage, sit on other people's necks.
Yeah, but Mr. Nomaki, yesterday and even the day before, youths up north did actually say that no, they didn't all agree with some of the issues that were raised by the northern leaders, and that they thought that they shouldn't have said or come at it that way because they are equally affected with the security challenges.
Clearly, isn't it not enough today that all their governors, some of their governors are negotiating with bandits? Huh? They are young people in the north. Did they not loot during this crisis? It does not show you that what affects them affects others. It's the same thing they are going through. But these people want to keep us permanently divided to think that they can only thrive in division, in dividing us, in taking advantage of the rest of us once we cannot agree.
Well,
and that's why they're keeping north.
You know, looking at the resolutions from that meeting, I didn't quite see anything pointing to that division which you mentioned. But I also recall you've mentioned time and again true federalism. And I'm wondering, if we were practicing true federalism, would this meeting have been okay?
If you are practicing true federalism, the meeting you could not have heard.
How do you mean?
Because if you are practicing true federalism, every regions, every part of the country are able to express themselves, their positions, take decisions on their own and rest. Why would we go and be holding this kind of in your face?
But this is a region. This is a regional meeting. This is a meeting that was held by a region.
A region.
Yes.
With the chief of staff of the president in the place, there, IG of police is there. Lajilai Mohammed, who's supposed to be the information commission minister for the whole country, was there. You gather all the. Like I told you now, it's like we go to come to Lagos now, or go to Bayelsa or anywhere, or to hold a meeting of all southern and middle leaders with our governors and with our monarchs. We call Senate President, Deputy Senate Presidents, come. Speaker, House of Reps, come. Minority leaders in the Senate, come. What message are we sending? How would these people who are shouting indivisibility, indissolubility now, how would they react to such a meeting?
You know, I recall, I think it was earlier in the year that the IGP held meetings with Southwest governors, and I think on the occasion also held meetings with Southeast governors. I don't think he quite met with them altogether. He met with them based on region. So leaning on that, yes, you have mentioned that other top government officials were there. Don't you think that just maybe other regions, because at this point we're at the risk of splitting across region lines, and that is never what we want to see. So don't you think it might be okay for other regions to say, okay, well, this is how we want to go about our own. If you have done that, well, this is what we want to do, and find a way forward?
Well, if they allow that freedom for every region to express their own, will not have a problem. But what we are saying is that you cannot call such a meeting for the North.
Is there anything stopping Southwest governors, or Southeastern governors, South governors from calling such meeting?
Well, as it is today, the way they have put Nigeria today, even those who are from your regions here will be afraid to attend because of the consequences from the colonial masters in Abuja. We are saying that, look, we cannot continue this way. You can't continue to treat us as if we are serfs. And you are the freeborns in this country. We have equal rights, equal citizens. Let us agree. Look, I can tell you this. Even in some of our regions, even in my own region, Southwest, young people are asking us that you are wasting your time asking for restructuring in this country. This country cannot work. We are the ones saying, let's continue to try. But the way they are behaving, which mouths do we want to be talking to our people when we are treating the country this way?
Just
like a conquer territory of yours?
Just to be clear, what moves have you been making that you've perhaps been hitting a stone wall? Just, to put this out there. The Southeast or Southwest region in this case, which you're part of, what moves have you been making? What kind of response have you been getting such that you now say that those you term as colonial masters in Abuja would make people afraid to attend such meetings? How did you come to that conclusion?
It's not something I can be saying on television. But we know that most of those who are not directly their own, who are serving the government, they are not given equal treatment. They just treat them as chatters to be used. They can hardly take independent positions from them. So there are deep things about the way this country is structured presently. which is why we are asking for restructuring. And at the Southern and Middle Leaders Forum, we have taken a position that it will be very, very difficult for us to go for any further national elections without restructuring this country.
Is it a problem of holding these meetings, holding these positions, as opposed to the people who are representing the various regions, the various states at the center, whether in the executive or the legislature, even in the judiciary? What are their own roles? For instance, on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we see Southwest governors, calling for a probe into military, the involvement of the military at the Lekki toll gate, among other things. They're also calling for a restoration of confidence in the police, morale boosting for their welfare and all of that. So if all they do is, what exactly can be done? Not necessarily, even especially with the people that are representing the various states and regions now. What are they supposed to be doing that they are not doing, and who is stopping them?
Well, because at the moment, they are not being treated as equal partners in the Nigerian projects. It's as if we have given them appointments from within the context of our power. You cannot build in Nigeria that works like that. Earlier on, I was talking about a senior retired military officer from the North who was talking to me. He said, I was saying that, look, we cannot build a nation out of this country the way we are going. That how can his people be celebrating that they are used to don't participate in the NSAS program, and we say we are the same country? And I said, no, look, we are not even saying that we should build a nation. It's a first thing. When you say Nigeria is a nation, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a multi-ethnic state. What we can build is to have a federal system in which we have a rainbow coalition, where every session, like what I call a salad bowl. When you have a bowl of salad, we have different ingredients: lettuce, tomato, egg, and the rest. They are not losing their identities, but it's the combinations of all these ingredients that we call salad. Nigeria can only be a salad bowl society. Let's have rules of engagement and work together for our common good, but not to be treating ourselves as if we are protectorates. Oh, we are the ones in charge, falling. And now you're saying Nigeria is indivisible, indissoluble. You have deserved it.
Well, I'm just wondering, when you say that you possibly may just decide not to participate in further elections unless something happens. Is that going to be a good idea, having seen the way some parties, political parties who didn't participate in elections in this country, the other party just took over every seat, and today they're biting their fingers, thinking, well, they made a mistake?
No, this is not about party or no party. It's about regions, about peoples. We in the south, southeast, southwest, middle belt, we're going to put our foot down and make it very clear that hold 1,000 elections under this structure is going to continue to produce the same iniquity.
So how is that going to play out? Does that mean that, for instance, the ruling party, APC, if there's an election and then their members in those other states will not participate in the elections?
No, clearly, we just hope that they don't drag it to that point. When we get to that point, it's a different ballgame altogether.
But we've seen that screw before. This will likely happen in this country.
The way we are going, look, these days, I will always see a comparison between Nigeria and Yugoslavia. In 1991, an American journalist went around Yugoslavia. He was the last visitor. One of the last allowed such a current. He went around and he saw all the divisions in Yugoslavia. When he finished, he wrote a book titled The Impossible Country, A Journey Through the Last Days of Yugoslavia. Before that book came off the press, Yugoslavia collapsed. We don't pray that anybody is writing such a book about Nigeria at this moment. But we should do the right things to ensure that that does not become the fate of Nigeria. Nigeria has a great potentials. if we agree to make it work, Nigeria will be a pride for the rest of Africa. But for a session to be thinking that it's about us, it's about what we want, it's about what we think, it cannot work. People are not going to continue to accept. We're not going to accept that. And we have put it down. And we're not going to continue, to be serfs, to be treated like slaves or weakness in this country. We should be treated as equal citizens who have equal stake in Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Yinko Dumaki, spokesperson of Afenifere, we do thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.
All right, well, back in a moment. Join us again.
And constantly interface with government.